just the ability to manage all the data, and anything that there's a DBF file in the Aloha database, we can create a form and manage that centrally from EDM. Tracking the differences among the units. If I click on a menu item and want to change the price, when I highlight that price and go to edit that, it shows me that current price based on the stores that I've selected, and if there's any differences, I can also see which stores have different pricing right from the form that I used to make the changes.
You were able to manage all of your Aloha data directly from there, track the differences among units, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. So you're saying that you're able to track the differences, but you're not talking about only the ability to see those differences in a report.
Correct, yep. That is right from the screen where I would program the changes, that I have full visibility into any of the restaurants that I'm projecting to make changes at, what those configuration settings are.
You have on here easy to query and find data?
Yep, there's a query module that comes with EDM, and it allows you to look at the database files from any of your restaurants and run queries against that data to determine if there's price changes, price differences, routing, printing, anything that's in that DBF file. I can run a report on and use that to form a game plan if I'm making a change, or just for validation that all the changes that I've pushed out have been successful.
You had also mentioned to me that you use EDM to manage some of your other applications in the store.
EDM has the ability to push files out to the stores. So if I have, say, our HR application and we need to do an update to that, I can utilize EDM to push those files out and place them in specific locations at the restaurant, allowing me more flexibility and one-stop shop for a number of different needs that I have.
Excellent. And how difficult is it to use EDM to manage all of this information?
The forms are 100% configurable to however you're comfortable with them. We set ours up so that they look similar to what you would see if you're an Aloha manager at a restaurant.
Okay.
So if you were making a change to a menu item, it looks very similar to the menu item panel, which if I have other people in my department who have done some editing of the database at the stores at the store level, I can easily transfer those responsibilities to those people, because this is very similar in the look and feel. And the nice thing about this is at the top you can have it where you sort those items by name or by number.
So it's easy to find exactly what it is that you're trying to modify.
Yes, exactly.
Next thing I'd like to ask you about is you went through and you found this application, EDM, that you thought would solve this need that you have. Let's talk a little bit about the implementation of EDM. So how did it start? What kind of a support did you get from real-time in order to get moving on the project?
Well, we had great support right from the very early stages. We were one of the first people to implement this with Aloha, so we had some great support in creating the forms. Just the troubleshooting part of it, getting all the configuration dialed in, and obviously we tested on a lab for a while and built a comfort level with the processes, and got it to where we were ready to push it out to the stores.
I see on here that it says rollout was very easy. Tell me what's involved in the rollout of EDM.
Basically, we moved the files out to the stores that were required for the application, and it was an executable that made it very simplistic. We did the little configuration just to set some store-specific information into the configuration files, and every night it started uploading data to the to our corporate office.
So after you downloaded the files and you configured access the store-specific information, as you say, you didn't have to manually set up each store's database at the central server?
No, we did not. Nope. as long as those locations were set up in that central database, basically you just tell it that you want to pull that data back, and when the process runs at the stores every night, that's what happens.
And once that's accomplished, you're ready to start working.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was able to make changes almost right away.
Now that we know what it took to roll this product out, what I'm really interested in is, what have been the benefits for you for using EDM?
Besides, I got my life back. It's been a great thing in the fact that I can go and satisfy any requirement that is given to me for modifications to the database at the store, and make those with great confidence that everything is going to work.
All right, and have you been using it recently for some major
We
rollouts?
actually launched a whole menu out to all of our restaurants, yeah, and it was 11,000 updates that hit that server after it all was pushed out. So that, to me, was a pretty good test of the system to make sure that it all worked and prove the reliability of it, considering I added 50-plus menu items and several panels and modifier groups, and it was a pretty big rollout.
And what level of effort would have been required to make this kind of a rollout prior to implementing EDM?
Herculean. It would have been a major undertaking with multiple people.
One other thing that you mentioned to me that stuck out in my head is that not only were you rolling out 11,000 updates, but you're running on multiple versions of Aloha at the moment?
Yeah, we have a current 5.3 version, and we're also running 6.4 version of Aloha Quick Service.
And how does that affect EDM?
EDM is able to manage that through just setting up another company with the new version, which takes into account any changes to the DBF files. So I have 100% uptime if I need to make changes in the course of my upgrade, that I'm able to do that regardless of the version of the store.
All right, and what's the process for configuring EDM to use the new Aloha version?
I just changed the company name right in the configuration.
And that's it?
So, and that was all it took.
Excellent.
So that's part of our upgrade process, actually.
So I guess it's safe to say that your experience with EDM on your Aloha system has been pretty positive.
Yeah, it's been very positive. It's enabled me to do a lot of things that without it, I don't know how I would have accomplished.
I appreciate you going over this with us today. I'd like to open up the conversation to questions from the group that they may have.